Today I'm building a voice AI app for my phone to create tasks in Buildium while I'm driving, while I'm out in a property, or just because I don't want to type it in the system and maybe I just want to call and use my number. So in one of my videos, I demonstrated the best practices of using Lovable. This time I'm sharing the page where I found most of this information. So there's a lot about it, just like best practices, setting the foundation, using knowledge base file, etc. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to copy this page and I'm going to go inside my Claude app and just ask it to help me out with creating this application. And I have this cool voice AI app that just lets me speak instead of typing. Hi, I am building an application that is voice AI, and I want to use it for creating tasks in my property management software. So sometimes I'm just driving and other times I'm just at properties, but I don't have access to my laptop and they don't really actually have a mobile app. I don't think so, or a good user-friendly website for phones. So I just want to be able to talk with this app, have a very, very simple interface, kind of that's just a microphone or something. Maybe you can come up with a good idea. And I'm going to build it in Lovable. Now, I'll give you context about the best practices so that we can structure a prompt that will one-shot in Lovable to create this app. So, boom. I'm going to paste the context here that we just copied from Lovable. I'm going to give it a minute for it to generate it. And actually, I'm wondering if Sonnet 4.6 is the best model for it. I'm pretty sure that it is capable of doing it, and it would do it no problem. But I've noticed that since Opus 4.6 came out, or is it the 4.7? Yeah, Opus 4.7 came out recently, and it's just consuming a lot of credits. It keeps my usage very high. So which property management software are you using? Pretty smart at it. Buildium. How should the app send tasks to your software? Because we have access to the Buildium API and I just want to do it easy, we'll use the API. Like what other way? What types of tasks will mostly be creating? So maintenance requests, follow-up calls, emails, inspection notes, tenant reminders. So what about like just a bit of everything? And then to-dos for when I am back in the office and reminders for myself in the future. Boom. So it knows the right questions to ask. And I intentionally omitted saying Buildium because the voice AI app that I'm using in my laptop sometimes doesn't recognize Buildium. I think I've added it to the dictionary, so maybe it would have this time. But it's impressive how it just asked me. So perfect. Let me look up the Buildium's API structure quickly so the prompt has the right endpoints baked in. Now, okay, it got ahead of myself. And what I was trying to do was read the API documentation. So right here, we have the Buildium docs, and we can look at tasks, at creating tasks. It's quite easy. We can create new categories, or we can create requests using these endpoints. It's quite simple. I wanted to do this myself, but I mean, for the sake of it, why not? Let's see how good it is at it. Because, yeah, maybe a year ago, I wouldn't have allowed it to make these judgment calls. But it's getting pretty good at it now. What I'm concerned about is it burning too many tokens before my session resets. Anyways, I have the added usage or extra usage, whatever that's called, so that it can still continue even if we hit a limit. Screen 3, okay, so knowledge file. Then it has instructions to build the app. I'm mostly wondering how it's going to go when it builds the interface. So I just care about the UI. Anything else is cool. Okay, parse the JSON, la 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 la. This is a lot. This is quite the plan. I don't know. I feel like for planning, Opus is better. So let's just, for the sake of it, I mean, first level settings. Let's just review the plan briefly. Settings screen inside the app and enter your Buildium client ID, client secret, and Anthropic API key. Why does it need an Anthropic API key? Those get saved to your phone's local storage, so nothing is hard-coded. Cool. Second, for the Buildium side, go to the settings, developer tools. Okay, create the API keys. We know how to do that. Third, once it's working, pin that first version immediately. That's your safety net before you start tweaking anything. Okay, so it knows the endpoint apparently. That this is a correct one, and this is the correct payload to use. When the user finishes speaking, send the transcript. Okay, because it uses voice. Okay, I see. So maybe it's just going to do like a super simple configuration. I was not thinking of using Anthropic's API for the voice interface. I wanted to use a different one, but I guess it's pretty clever of them to just have it recommend its own API when planning builds. Because I would have used another software and maybe not even Anthropic, perhaps as a base API or LLM, I mean. But I could have used 11 Labs or something else. So let's see how good it is. Now I have the prompt here, so I'm just going to copy it, and it's broken apart because it has a little bit of code in the middle, so maybe it's just not recognizing it. So it's very important that I notice it. So I'm going to copy paste that, and then I'm going to copy this part again that it left out, and then copy that again, and just do plan. Yeah, we want to plan definitely. Okay, design. Okay, that's an enterprise-only feature. Connectors, databases, chat connections. Okay, I'm good to go. I'm just gonna let it run wild. Okay, verification needed. Verify. I promise I'm a human. Enable notifications. I don't want this right now. So this is going to take a minute, and I get a minute because now it's reviewing everything we have provided. And if we want to review the plan, this is exactly what I pasted. So it generated the product vision. It says mobile first voice task manager that lets a property manager create tasks. That's quite wordy. And now it has some questions here. So it wants us to make some decisions on building. 2 important issues with the spec. How do you want to handle them? Proxy Anthropic plus Buildium via edge functions recommended. Keep it fully client-side as written in the spec. Keep live in local storage. Yes, I want to do this because I feel like for building it is way easier. This is going to make it so much faster to build. Otherwise, we may need to involve other services that I'm just trying to avoid. So I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. PWA install behavior, manifest only install on a service worker for full PWA with offline service worker as VT plugin. Works another recommended as with standalone display, no offline caching, no service worker, avoids preview issues. I don't really know what this means actually, but whichever is easier, whichever does not require adding any service or part of the system. Better if run locally on device. I just want to keep it as simple as possible. Boom. Okay, submit. Okay. I like how it now asks for clarification. When I started using Lovable not so long ago, it would just like go run wild, and it would make some decisions that were not always the best. but they made a lot of progress since then. Cool. So it's now generated the plan. I'm gonna have a just really brief look at it because I mostly care about the UI. I think I can plug in the backend myself, make all the API calls, no problem. I just want to make sure that it is pretty, it's good looking, appealing, attractive, all that good stuff. So mobile first, single screen, voice task manager, tap mic, speak, AI parses, confirm cards, submit a Buildium, fully client side, keys and local storage, no backend, no auth, no component library. Now, for a quick app that only I am gonna use, this is a good plan. If it were something that I launch on a massive scale, I would support like self-serve onboarding and many other things. Sure, I'm probably going to implement some more features. Maybe a backend authentication, like yeah, that could be important. But I'm just gonna do this myself. I'm gonna do it just for fun, and I'm aware of the risks. Now, nothing's going to happen because I'm just going to use some disposable API keys that are tied to the sandbox, so nothing in the Rails system. And anyways, we can just configure the access and yeah, the access to the endpoints for this specific key to be limited. So even if the keys were leaked or they were exposed, that's no problem because they're only going to have access to the maintenance or no, not the maintenance endpoint, but the task creation endpoint. So yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, we get spammed a bunch of tasks in Buildium, but I think the risk is worth it. Realistically, that's never going to happen, especially because the keys are stored in the device. But I just want to be like super specific about the security challenges and implications that we're accepting right now. I emphasize nothing's going to happen. It's really safe. But I just want to explain what it's saying in simple terms. So main screen, sure, dark slate, top right gear icon, center, status, recording state, cool. Okay, so it's going to record rather than like transcribe live or something. Like is it going to send the audio somewhere? Because Claude made that decision for me. I was going to do it another way, but if that makes things easier, faster, I'm just gonna let it do it. Setting screen. Inputs for Buildium client ID, Buildium client secret, Anthropic API key, save button, sure. And then a success voice capture. Okay, AI parsing Buildium. So post message to Anthropic from local storage, include model Cloud Opus 4.5. Maybe I change this model. We don't really need the Opus 4.5. Prompt as specified. Buildium submission. We could probably do something cheaper. PWA. Okay. Persistent styling, file changes. Cool. Approve. Let's roll with it. Boom. Whenever I approve a plan and it's just creating an app for the first time, I get super excited because I want to know what it's going to build. Even if you use the same prompt or if you copy and paste a plan in a different chat, it's always going to come up with something entirely different. So because we didn't specify all of the colors, some were specified, but not all of them. If I were to copy and paste a plan into a different chat, it's certainly going to use different colors in some parts of the build. Now, I'm not gonna experiment with this right now, but if you're building like an app for yourself and maybe it's your first time using Lovable, definitely just check out what it's capable of doing if you run the prompt many times. Credits are getting more expensive. I think Lovable has gotten smarter about how they're pricing things. In my opinion, I mean, credits are just valued differently than other apps, and they're not AI credits. So when you're thinking Lovable credits, they're not the same thing as tokens or something else. I wonder what their markup is on token usage, but it's got to be really, really high. Their margins have got to be tremendous. especially because they offer free tiers. They're always giving away their product. That's one of like their motivations. And they say this publicly. They just give it out like candy in their own words. It's finished. It's completed the build. The next step is to see how good it is and check for any bugs, any other changes that I wish to make. If I want to make any improvements to the UI, I like the tap to speak thing. It's good. There are other apps that are just like super visually appealing, but I'm speaking about ChatGPT and other voice AI apps that are just like super big. So they have a lot of resources to build a cool UI. Now, for the sake of this, we'll keep it simple. It's working. Now we have the settings here. It will let us enter the client ID, the Buildium client secret, and the Anthropic API key. It says your credentials stored locally on this device only. So that is good. We want that. No tasks yet. Your last 5 will show here, so that's nice. It means it should receive a response from Buildium's API in order to store them. So I wonder, I mean, they should be stored here since we're not using a backend. Taps to speak. Allow. Hello. Can you hear me? This is so cool. What the hell? Okay. Wow. No way. Office to do. Maintenance request. Follow-up. Vendor work order. Tenant reminder. Oh my God. It lets us select a lot of options. So what if we do this? So, hi. I was driving by 123 Main Street, and I suspect they have unauthorized pets in the leads. I'm not a nosy property manager. But, okay, missing Anthropic API key, open keys to added, sure. So it's giving me an error just because we haven't added the API key. Office to do, inspection note, I don't know. Okay, so let's just set it up now. I'll create the details. All right, so now I just have to go in my developer tools. I'm gonna create a new API key. I'll name it Voice AI app. And this is what I was talking about earlier about giving it permissions. If you're generating API keys and you don't really know what you're doing, or you're just vibe coding things and you don't really know where they may end up, or you're just not a technical person, it's better to just limit the access of these keys in the event they get exposed. And know where you're putting them always. Don't send API keys to your LLM. I mean, I will consider these keys as compromised because I am working with them on Lovable online. So yeah, as soon as the video is done, I'm going to delete them. Now, communication. Okay, so tasks. This is what I want full access to. So edit. The application is currently not assigned to the lead task. However, that's a functionality we can implement in the future. So I will give it full access to tasks. And these are the keys that it has generated. So client ID, boom, I'll copy paste it, go into settings, boom. Oh. Okay, so I've been sharing a different screen this whole time. I've been sharing just the Lovable screen, not the Buildium dashboard that I'm looking at. But just so you know, this is what I was just seeing right now. So Buildium API keys, you create an API key here, you name it, let's just call it test, and then you uncheck all of the tasks which you don't want access to, right? Or sorry, the key permissions. And this is what I enabled for my key. So yeah, just FYI. Now let's switch screens to Lovable. Okay, so we have that key. We have the Anthropic API key. Now this is highly sensitive, even if just creating temporarily, because yeah, a lot of things can happen. But I'm gonna generate my key For the sake of this video, I created API keys in Anthropic in my dashboard that are just for this video. You should be really careful again with how you're managing your API keys, because again, they can get exposed, and this is something serious. If you don't have usage limits, let's say you're just have your account on auto reload and you have a credit card on it, if they were ever to get exposed, certainly you're going to get billed a lot of usage, because there's some just people out there with not the best intentions. So just careful with that. Now I'm going to save the settings. Now that it's saved them, it says your credentials are stored locally on this device only. Cool. I like how security first the UI is. Now again, they are in a way local in the way that they're just running in my device. However, this version, this instance is running on Google Chrome. It's running on Lovable. So I don't really know what's going on in the backend, but I will delete these keys ASAP. And then once I download the app on my phone, I really test and know that it is working locally, then it's fine to keep these keys alive. The other thing is, I'm not expecting this to just work flawlessly the first time, because there's always a few bugs to fix. And I actually, I can think of one right now, but this is just more of my own planning and the fact that I'm using the sandbox. It's going to use a different endpoint here, because I've given it sandbox keys, so it expects a sandbox URL when creating a task. So I have to update that accordingly. Now I'm gonna say update the base URL to this one. Base Buildium URL to this one. Okay, so now it knows. Okay, I just told it update the base URL. It's done it. It's time to test. Hello, please create a task. I guess it just, wait, is it just generating and transcribing audio from, so it's transcribing task creation request. Okay, no, it's actually like taking instructions from my voice. It's not just transcribing it and using that text in the text box. So tap to speak. I need you to create a task to remind the owner of 123 Main Street to mow their front lawn. Creating task preview. Remind owner to mow the front lawn. Okay, so it takes what I said and normalizes it for entering it in the title box and then notes. Property address, okay. So due date, do I want a due date? I do want a due date because I don't want this to go any longer than Thursday. Create a task, the priority is normal. Okay, so here we go. The Buildium API may not allow direct browser requests from this origin. So that's a bummer. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? How do you know? Let's see. I encountered an issue. Boom. Let's see if that's the true case, because we're not really seeing the response from Buildium. It could be something else. Let's see. Console tooltip from origin has been blocked. Okay, so it seems that could be it. So maybe we do need a proxy. Oh no, leave it as is. Buildium calls won't work from the browser, but the rest of the app voice AI parsing UIs. Yeah, it's actually impressive how good the voice is working just from one-shotting it. Which do you want? Yeah, you're right. You did recommend this. Would move to from local storage to server side secrets. Okay, let's do it, I guess. If it's going to be stored as a secret, I'm fine with it. One. Boom. Let's see how good of a job it did at moving the API call to a server side function. So apparently, the client ID and the secret are still sent from the browser per the request, but the actual API call happens on the server side. So I guess the keys are being sent to the server, and then the server makes the API call. And I hope that is done in a secure way. Lovable has taken many steps at making the use of API keys and sensitive credentials safer. So I need to catch up with the latest things they've done, but I'm close to being confident that this would be a secure way of doing it. Now, you can never just trust an LLM with your API keys. I'm not talking about Lovable as a product and company themselves, but um, yeah, when I started using Lovable, it was not as good. It was very easy to have your keys exposed. So I would still like double check that if moving this into another repo or downloading the app on my phone to run locally, I would still delete the keys that I used for this project, create new keys in Buildium or Anthropic from those portals, and then just paste them once I know that that app is validated, is secure, and the keys are definitely not getting exposed. So let's see how it does now. Please create a task to remind the neighbor of 435 Maple Street to clean their dog poop next time they take them out for a walk. It's got to be using a really good model. Or like, I'm just curious about which one it's using because it corrected the transcription from duck poop to dog poop. Okay, remind neighbor to clean up. Boom, boom, boom. This is actually high priority. I want them to get notified about it next thing, first thing in the morning tomorrow. The app encountered an error. What is this? Okay, anon show logs. Let's see what it runtime. So superbase function. Okay, it seems like something is buggy here. So I'll give it a go. I'll provide context about the issue. That's what I've done already. So now it's reviewing the API endpoint, case sensitivity, and mapping. Uh-huh. Oh, there you go. How do you know that? I don't think it did any lookups or searches online. I mean, I could have just copied the endpoint here, since we already know the information and the payload's body that we need to send. So that's for a category to do request. Okay, so here we go. Title assigned to user ID. So I think this is what we're missing, perhaps, the user ID. Because if it's missing any of these required fields, then it's just going to fail automatically. So hey, I'll give you a screenshot of the payload because perhaps that's what could be failing as well if it's not formatted correctly. There's some required fields to look out for. Cool. But at least it did update the endpoint because that was also wrong. So here's it. An example. No need to take a screenshot since I can just copy and paste it here. And I'll say title assigned to user ID, test status and priority. So title assigned to user ID, status and priority are all required fields. Cool. Nice. All right, we just need to find my own ID. And I guess I'm gonna do it from, and I can do it from Postman if I just get my ID. There is a way to get them. All right, so this is an endpoint I want to use. So API.buildium users. So sandbox, because we're using the sandbox. Now I just got to go back and perhaps create a new API key because the other one was lost. Once you create an API key, cancel then. Once you create an API key and then you close that window, you can never recover the secret. So client ID, authorization, there's like a very strict parameter I gotta use. So secret, tune, go back into docs, and then it's like X Buildium something. Okay, so that's the, yeah, this is what we gotta include. Oh, in the headers. So in the headers, not the body or anywhere else. I may have, where was I? Authorization. Okay, so yeah, I have to just move this to the headers. So that's the Buildium API. I had the client ID. This is the secret. Copy paste. Boom, boom. Okay. Now we just get the users. Give me the users. Okay, so here we are. So I was able to retrieve all of the user IDs. Now we know from my name and last name and then my email here that this is my ID. So it's now probably going to ask, okay, so what should the assigned user ID be? Open settings and okay. So here we go. Now in the, oh, okay, so that's cool. Now we can either change it as we need, and now it's in the settings instead of it being hidden somewhere in the code. So save settings, go back, tap to speak. Hey, I think that the neighbor of 123 Main Street is just throwing some wild tea parties in the evenings of every Thursday. So I need you to remind me tomorrow to just complain about it to the HOA. Okay, creating task preview. Nah, no. Okay, so create a task. Will it work this time? Hopefully it does. Task created. Reason, we can see it here. Complain to HOA about neighbor. Personal reminder. That's cool. How does it know this? Like, I mean, I know it certainly generated the instructions for it. I just didn't read them. I jumped straight into copying and pasting the plan. All right, so where do we go now? Tasks. Let's go to tasks. All tasks. Finally, complain to HOA about neighbors Thursday evening tea parties. Wow. I can see I'm the user assigned. I can see a description. The category is uncategorized, but whatever, we can leave that and just make any improvements later. So it seems to me we have a full app. Now I'm going to open it in my phone and check that it's working. I want to publish it so that I can just get it in my phone. Voice Task Hero, lovable app. Okay. Sure, why not? Voice Task Buildium. Lovable app. Continue. Yes. Public. Voice task. Hence free task for Buildium. Just gonna edit this thing because I like putting my own little character in my projects. Boom. Cool. There we go. Continue. Website info. It's public. So, yep. Let's see how good it is. All right. So I'm checking it out on my phone. It's here. It's up and running. Yes. Perfect.